want to give you a rule about real Kabbalists, because there are very numerous fake Kabbalists out there. Those who know don't talk, and those who talk don't know. Got it? Okay, that's the way it goes. So probably one of the most major Kabbalists who you would ever come across in terms of being English-speaking and accessible is Rav Yaakov Hillel, who has a major Kabbalah yeshiva. But if you're going to say, like, what were my past lives? He'll basically say, I wish you all of the best. Okay. Do you have any other questions? Okay. I have to. Yeah. And if he would know, he'd be the last person in the world who would say. Okay, got it?
So would you not recommend, I mean, like, I've heard mixed opinions, but, like, if you were wanted to actually meet the Kabbalists, not for, like, oh, tell me my future kind of thing, but really just to, like, get some perspective into your life or, like, some clarity through, like, you know, would you still not recommend meeting with one? Or, like what are the appropriate times that you can actually meet with someone? When you're 40.
So in terms of, like, studying to you or with you, that's not going to happen.
No,
you know.
I'm not talking about studying. I'm talking about just if you have, like, a struggle or a question or something, like, what are appropriate times, like?
So if people often go to serious Kabbalists for advice on things that are defined as spiritual as opposed to concrete. Like, my prayer is blocked, or I have a repeated dream and I can't get rid of it, or something like this. So Rav Yaakov Hillel is completely available. You call the number, the madrichot have the number, you get an appointment. The appointment is usually within 2 weeks. And most of the time he's going to give you very concrete advice, as opposed to the kind of advice that people want. If he takes money, he's not a Kabbalist. Take that as axiomatic. There's another real Kabbalist who doesn't, Rav Hillel speaks English because he's from India. Everyone in India.
He's from India?
He's from India.
Is he like B'nai Israel?
No. Most of the Jews who live in India, who are genuinely Jewish, are the descendants of Iraqi traders who went down to India. So he's actually a distant relative of mine, but I'll spare you. Like, my daughter-in-law's mother's cousin, what does that make him to me? Nothing. Yeah, so he's very available, but he's very unspooky and won't take money. There's another Kabbalist who I've actually been to a number of times, Rav Gamliel, who doesn't speak English, so that's why I'm not recommending him, but also extremely normal, extremely available, So he's such an unusual. Does this interest you still? I really should go back to the Parsha. He's in 3 different directions at once. He writes Kabbalistic books, which are very, very tough reads. Very. But he also once a week has classes for boys who are off the derech, with singing and food and kiruv and, you know. And he receives people. And then a different night during the week, the boys from the elite yeshivas come to hear Talmudic lectures. He's very multifaceted, extremely normal. So there was a very unusual person. So I brought a Neve girl who was in a pickle. She was like, she had some history and she was a little older and this and that, so her marriage prospects weren't what she would have wished them to be. So somebody suggested a shidduch with a man who was young. He was in, like, I think at that time 25, who lost his wife tragically, to illness. He wanted to remarry. He had everything going for him. He was, like, good looking and intelligent and frum, but he had a child. Okay? And somebody suggested this shidduch, but at the time she had met somebody else, and she liked this other guy, and she was going to get engaged to him. And then, at like the last date before he was going to, like, say, let's get married, he confided in her that he has a medical condition that could lead to all sorts of complications in their personal relationship and might even make it impossible for her to bear children. So she was very torn apart because she wanted very badly to get married. And I certainly, like, this is like way too big for me. So I said, let's go to Rav Gamliel. I trust his Eitzah because he's given in our own family, he's given us extremely good advice. So I took her there, and he heard about both of them. She kept on going back to the one with the illness. And he said, what about the other one? She said, but he has a child. And then he has slipped. He said, but Moshe will love you. No one told him that the child's name was Moshe. So that was like, and he talked it over very quickly, but I caught it. Okay, she didn't catch it. Okay, but it was, so there are the real deals, but again, the ones who are real don't talk, and the ones who talk aren't real, and if they take money, forget it. What happened in the end is she didn't marry either of them. And she's still single. Okay. It's like, so at least it's a long time ago.